Hello, everyone. My name is Greg. I'm Head of Partnerships and Alliances at TalkSpirit. And today we are shining light on one of our partners, Anja Heggli from Punkt.Null, to shed light on the impactful work that they're doing in alternative governance, in collective intelligence, and also just generally improving the life of humans in new ways of working. So, Anja, welcome. First of all, who is Anja Heggli and what is Punkt.Null?
Hi, Greg. Thank you very much for hosting me. I'm an organizational development consultant. So I originally studied industrial and organizational psychology, and I've worked at Swisscom, a big telecommunication company, for 10 years, doing a lot of organizational development stuff, change processes, conflict management, leadership trainings. And then we founded Punkt.Null 6 years ago with the idea of really accompanying organizations and helping them to find more organic, more purposeful ways of collaborating where they can really use their collective intelligence and reach their highest potential. So that's kind of like what I'm most interested in. And otherwise, I'm from Bern, Switzerland. And in my private time, I like to do jiu-jitsu. So I really like to do some martial arts and use my body and not only just my mind.
Wow. Beautiful. I didn't know about the jiu-jitsu. This must be careful. Brilliant. And so
Yeah.
you mentioned getting more organic ways of working, collective intelligence. As a starting point, what are some of the key challenges that you see organizations facing today?
I think key challenges that organizations face are that the environment is continuously getting more complex and uncertain, and organizations need a way on how to react to those uncertain situations, fast changing situations. And at the same time, I feel like people are craving stability. So it's kind of like this huge tension between knowing we have to adapt, we have to change continuously, and at the same time, just wanting a space for stability and not being overwhelmed with so many different things. And I feel like there are so many power dynamics, underlying conflicts, and people really want to solve them, but solving them would mean like to be vulnerable and to really see what part am I playing in it. And that's really difficult in this time because people are craving stability. And if you get vulnerable, make yourself vulnerable, it's like really hard to look what can I do? Where is my point of view in it? Vulnerability is uncertainty by definition. So how to bring this together, this need for stability and certainty, and at the same time finding ways on how to develop and react differently to complexity.
I love that, seeing how to adapt while keeping things stable, vulnerability. But at the same time, you have to rock the boat a bit to get the change you want. And so how do you help organizations transform, knowing these challenges?
So mainly we work in a way that we start to analyze the underlying dynamics. So we always try to figure out how are people behaving, how is the whole system behaving, what are the underlying assumptions they're working by. And then we use the quadrant of Ken Wilber. I don't know if you know it. We always try to find a way to implement new structures, new methods that kind of set the ground for new behavior, a new mindset, and a new culture. And then we really try to accompany the people and the teams in their day-to-day work. So we can observe and help them when they are in their meetings, help them implement the new methods and point out the current dynamics they have and help them change their collective behaviors while they are really showing them and using them. And at the same time, we also offer training spaces, spaces for reflection, where people can really tap into their own vulnerability and figure out where are my insecurities, what am I afraid of, what kind of usual behavior do I have to avoid this kind of exposure for making decisions, speaking about conflict directly, etc. So they can reflect and at the same time really train these small habits and these new skills. So just, for example, saying no. So we create spaces where they have to train to say no. And someone is on the opposite and see, did I believe you? Was it really impactful? Or was it more like, nah, you said it, but your whole body said something else. So we really try to help them learn these new habits and skills.
Beautiful. I love that. So from the individual to the organization, looking at where they are, where they want to go. And just a curiosity I have there is why do you think there's this need to train people on saying no?
I think, yeah, that's a good question. I think it's something that's really hard for all of us. And I think before you can say no, you cannot really say yes. I think if you're able to set healthy boundaries and to really know what you can do or can't do or is not possible, then you kind of face reality. And from reality, you can find new solutions. But if you continuously try to pretend I can do it or I do it, then you never really address the real problem. So I think it's kind of the basis. And it's a very important part of taking responsibility and self-leadership.
I love that. You can't really say yes if you don't know how to say no. Beautiful. And so, I mean, maybe this is a good segue to the next question, but what are some of the biggest mindset shifts required to support the change, both in people, but also for the whole organization?
Well, I think one of the biggest mindset shifts is the understanding of power. I think we have a really negative association with power, and we often confuse it with power abuse. And even though power is, we use it all the time. We need power to make a decision, to get into action, to do anything, basically. We need power assertiveness. And I feel like we really need to embrace our powerful side, because otherwise we just pretend we're not powerful. But at the same time, we need it individually and collectively in order to move forward to do something. So if we don't use it consciously, it just goes into the unconscious level and we use it unconsciously, and that's where you usually abuse it. So I feel like we need spaces where power isn't a taboo anymore, where it's good and it's welcome to use power and to be powerful, but to be it in an explicit way and to be able to be powerful and leave space for others to be powerful as well in their own unique way. I think this is like one of the really important shifts. And the other one, I think, is like seeing tensions and conflicts as a potential for development. I feel like we're so socialized to not having conflicts, doing everything to avoid tensions. And it's really important that we start to let conflicts be and tensions be and can use them to really change something. But I think that's a hard one, because then we also have to deal with all the feelings that are coming with these conflicts.
Love that. Seeing power differently, owning our own power, and then knowing how to see tensions and challenges in a positive light as a whole. Beautiful. And then next question that I have is a bit different this time, but what role do you see technology playing in anchoring these new behaviors or helping with the change of mindsets that can help reach the transformation we want?
Yeah. I think technology is very helpful in making things transparent and explicit. I think a big problem with using power, addressing conflicts, is we use implicit ways of dealing with stuff. And technology can help us make things transparent and explicit. So for once, we have a structure with our organization, with the roles. We make explicit what we expect from each other. So it's kind of freeing to know if someone has an expectation from me, they just have to tell me and make it explicit. If they implicitly expect something from me, I don't have to do it. So it kind of makes it really powerful to make all those things explicit, transparent, knowing, you do this, you do that. Oh, you haven't done it. Why didn't you do it? and then you can answer, and then you can find a way. So it just gives you an opportunity to see where tensions are arising, and you know how to deal with them.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. Clarity is what comes to mind in what you're saying, that this clear, making the implicit explicit. If it's not confidential, do you have a story, a client, a moment that really made this all real for you? Something to illustrate the impact of the type of transformation you do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe we help an organization to transform to a more self-organized way of working. And so we work with the people who were managers before and now are transitioning to the self-organized way of working. There was like one team that had like a lot of difficulties, and also the former manager, it was really hard for her to be part of this transformation. And she always told me like, yeah, I don't know how to do it. I don't know what is expected from me. And, the roles are very clear. It is clear what's expected from her. But then we try to figure out what's really behind it. And then it became clear that she had a total different assumption. She thought her job is to make all the employees happy. And if there are any tensions, she should anticipate them before they even happen and solve them. Or once they arise, she has to solve them right away and make sure that everyone's happy again. And she thought like she has to guarantee 0% of fluctuation. So just make everyone stay. And then she realized, no, that's not what I have to do anymore. It's important that I leave the tensions so the people can actually voice their tensions by themselves and say what they really need. And for her, it was like this huge mindset shift of not being the protector. And by protecting, you always have a hierarchy. You always have the one protecting and the ones who need protection. And if you don't do that anymore, then you have true self-organization. But it means like enduring these tensions and trusting that the people around you can deal with them. So that was like really cool to see what her basic assumptions were and how deep they were, and for her to get conscious about these assumptions and now being able to shift.
Super interesting for her internal change, but also in a way by removing herself as the bottleneck, allowing others to get into that power of actually owning the tensions that they're experiencing and dealing with them. So if you could share one piece of advice with leaders who are seeking to evolve their organization or who are curious about how can they work better, what would it be?
What's really important is for them to figure out what they really want, what they don't want, and what they are insecure about or where they really need help with. Because I feel like right now there's such a hype around new organizational models, and everyone feels like they should do something, they should change. And I feel like that's not the idea at all. That's coming from this performance kind of mindset where you have to do this in order to perform, to be good. And that's the complete opposite of what self-organization means. And I think like really going deep and seeing what is it that I truly want. And it's okay to not want to go there. It's okay to not having the most fancy organizational design or whatever, but what is important to me. And then look from there. And I think then you face reality around you and reality within yourself. And then you have a chance to like really work at a place where you're comfortable with. And that's helpful to you because no one knows better than you and your organization what the next step is you need.
Love that. Okay, so really understanding what they want and specific to themselves actually as leaders and for their organization. Would you say this is on a values level, on a belief level, on a vision level, what kind of level do you see that interrogation happening?
Yes, but also deeper, I think. I think on all those levels, but at the same time, really, what is the problem of my organization is facing? And specifically, in what way is it a problem for me? And what do I want to have differently? and what am I ready to face, to let go, to change within myself? I mean, that's like the perfect example. That would be amazing. Or at least be open to let someone ask you these questions and to really figure out what it is that you truly want, and try to free yourself from these shoulds or what you think you have to do or would be necessary. And always like, what is your part in it? What are you ready to transform or let go of?
Wonderful. I love it. And last question from me is, you work in this space, you've been active for many years now, and you've seen a lot, you've done a lot. But what questions are you still holding? What are some of the tensions, the things that you're still questioning on your side?
Yeah, I think there's like a very personal part where I always try to work on myself. And right now it's kind of like, how can I really create a space where people can say where they are? Meaning, how can I accept everything? In the beginning, when I learned about self-organization, I was like, wow, that's so amazing. Everyone has to do it. That's the answer for everything. And really trying to let go of what I think is right and really create a space where organizations and their leaders can say what is right for them and challenge them to really speak up and find out what they want. And so that means like an internal transformation for myself. That's like my goal internally. And I think otherwise, what I'm really interested right now is in learning more about psychotherapy, because I feel like there's so many important tools. There's so much knowledge about how to deal with emotions, how to really transform people. And I'm really interested on how can we implement this kind of knowledge in a collective. So how can we make these methods, these tools available and useful in a collective? Because I feel like, yes, we need to change on an individual level, but we also need to change our collective system, our culture, our shared assumptions. And that happens in every interaction we have. We recreate or create a new culture in every interaction we have. And how can we use this knowledge on how to change collective?
Beautiful. Very human, looking at deeply understanding people, creating that space for them to be, and helping, I guess, unblock the things that are holding them back. Brilliant. Well, thank you, Anja. Is there anything else on your side you'd like to mention or bring up?
I think that's good.
Good. Well, thank you so much. Really enjoyed the exchange and the insights, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah,
Thank
great.
you, Anja.
Thank you so much.